Welcome to Inspiring Discussions. I'm your host, Ashley Janae, here to inspire and discuss. Welcome to Inspiring Discussions, Episode 5. I'm your host, Ashley Janae, and as usual, I want to thank God for blessing me to do another episode of Inspiring Discussions. And I want to also thank all of the listeners for tuning in to today's episode, which is going to be awesome because today I have a very special guest. She's very talented, she's very humble, very determined, very dedicated, and she's very gifted. The one, the only Cay Reno. And how are you today?
Hi there, Ashley. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. I cannot complain. God and the universe keep giving. My spirit guides are always with me. So, where are the complaints?
Yeah, but that's good. That's good to know then.
Yes, of course. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Every day I get, I'm always good.
Hey,
Yeah, that's it. Because it ain't guaranteed for nobody. So it's like you got to be thankful for whatever, new day you get. And then whatever new thing you going to tackle. So, hey, that's how I look at it.
absolutely.
Yeah, so tell the listeners about yourself.
Sure, no problem. I really don't know where to begin, but I appreciate your grand introduction. For sure, I am a music artist, but I'm more than that. I'm many things past that. I am just a passionate person about making sure I give back to everyone who pours into me, even others who I see in need. Like I could be honest that I have a true dolphin spirit. So everything in life has to come back to a bigger purpose, but I'm very much a creative. I try to add a little of my personality in everything I do, and I'm sure everyone who understands themselves to a certain degree will do that as well. So I guess you could say what makes me Cay Reno is just that I have my own little essence about how I pioneer the music industry. My goal is to be Chicago's feature queen. Like, I was actually called that by one of my supporters and one of my friends of the past. We're not so friendly now, but back then when they called me such a thing, I was like, wow, yo, that's me right there. Cay Reno, Chicago's feature queen, meaning that by the time maybe like 2 or 3 years goes by, I will have projected myself to have collaborated with the most Chicago artists or just artists in general. But you know how that gets in the music industry. So, with that being said, I would honestly say that I am a unique artist because I have a lot of influences that the standard stereotypical, ethnic person from the shy pretty much has, like those
Mm-hmm.
influences of house music,
Mm-hmm.
jazz, blues, spoken word even, and of course like the rap, drill, trap, hip hop scene. Like all of that comes into play. But also for me, I'm part Puerto Rican, so that Latin influence does make a little bit of a difference in my music as opposed to like the next person over. Gotta keep it unique and fresh.
Exactly. And it's all about embracing your culture too. And that's one thing I love about music. It's so diverse.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's very diverse, and then you just see a lot of people in a lot of different nationalities just basically expressing themselves through music. And one thing about Chicago, what I love about it is it's a huge metropolitan city where you have different talents. And
Yes, and that's such a big important part of everything that I put my hand in because it has everything to do with like our united culture. So
mm-hmm.
it's less of gentrifying or appropriating. It has everything to do with as you grow, as you play a part in the future generations. How did this culture stick to you? How did this way of life make sense for you? And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time we do use music to not only just transcribe or interpret, but to somehow make sense of what this life means to us, like what this culture is.
Exactly, exactly. That's always a great thing too, because I mean, you just like I said, you just have a lot of talent out here, and that's what I like too. And then
Yeah.
it's just, and then the way social media is, that helps too, because you're really able to rep who you are, and you're able to rep the city that you come from too. So that's another great thing about it too.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm Shot Town all day, baby, but I'm also como Puerto Rico. So I'm a rep it regardless. I'm a Mississippi girl too. Just a little bit of everything, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. And then also, like, what really inspired you to sing?
Oh Lord. This question gets me every time. I'll probably be saying that for the rest of my life because, to be honest, I was one of those type of girls or people. I'm okay with gender fluidity over myself, but just for the ease of everyone else, yes, I'm female presenting. So just being one of those type of people who sings in the shower,
Mm-hmm.
who really just use music to connect deeper to whatever experiences I was going through, like how to process my emotions. I feel things extremely deeply to the point where um my psychic senses will really like, how do I put it? I would just make more sense of very spiritual things through
Mm-hmm.
music. And it didn't have to be religious. It didn't have to necessarily be I'm in church on the south side or I'm at, iglesia on the island. It's just more so like, no, you really can use all music to make sense of the energy that's around you, that's within you, or that's trying to merge to you, that affects you. So, with that being said, like, yeah, I really was just somebody who would sing around the house. And to be honest, I didn't really have a support system for that. Like, of course, my people did say, okay, you want to sing, sing, cool. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it was still like, okay, like that's getting in the way, or, woo woo. The one thing I'll say is I was never barred from singing freely in the home, but when it came to like trying to do that outside of the crib in a more serious way or in a more character building way, I wasn't really backed by that, you feel me? And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I look at that as like it was kind of discouraging. So for
Yeah.
me, I had to dig deeper than, maybe some people. I mean, a lot of us share a similar experience where we had to make sure that we kept music at the forefront of our lives, because if we didn't, it would be taken from us, just by people not living the lives they want to live, so they'll push it off on somebody else not to live
Mm-hmm.
the life they want to live.
Exactly. It's like they trying to live their dream into somebody else.
Yeah, and I kind of mean it in another way too, which is just to say that, like, okay, for example, if you want to be the world's best ping pong player, well, you would have to have a ping pong table at some point, or you'd have to at least give it a try or exercise your rights and your efforts to make those, to realize those dreams. But like in a whole nother sense, if that person, or if you wanted to do that and you just refused to work towards it, and you gave yourself all the excuses in the world why you didn't, you had to work, you had a family, woo woo, or you just could never make the time, you could never figure it out, you didn't have people that showed you the way, that's all fine and dandy, but it's only a problem because then let's say you turn around and get to telling your friend or your kid or your coworker, yo, like, I don't know why you want to be the world's best matchmaker. You're never going to be on TV. You're never going to be a host putting people's relationships together. You're not going to go to school for psychology to understand how relationships are formulated and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
People could damper your dreams all day long because they didn't pursue theirs. And so that's kind of what I was getting at too. But you're right as well to say, sometimes people do push off their dreams onto others and say, well, I couldn't be this thing, so I'm gonna make you do it, or I'm gonna try to force you to do it. Like, yeah, that's definitely a
Exactly.
thing.
And it's funny that you say that, because I know I had did an episode. I want to say it was goals, my second episode, and I had briefly talked about, how other people want to live their dreams with other people, especially with the parents doing it to their kids. And
Yes,
I
of
and I
course.
yes, and then I just said, don't do that. Just be you. Don't let no one influence you to do something you don't want to do because they didn't get a chance to do it. Because
Absolutely.
it's like you won't never be happy that way. You're gonna be miserable living somebody else's dream instead of your dream.
For sure. I mean, it's not fitting. You know, everyone has a path of their own. No matter how similar or different, yours is extremely uniquely to you. Um, and yeah, like I know, oh, I must admit, so Ashley, I am quite tangible. You know, there are times where you might ask me a question and I'll veer off, but I'll do my best to wrap it back around to the main point. So forgive me on
Oh
that.
no, no, that's okay. This episode is all about it's all about you. So now it don't even matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much.
Yeah, nah, no worries, no worries. That's what I like to do. Make the guests feel like they at home. Just, whatever comes to mind, whatever you want to say, just do it.
No problem. Well,
Yeah.
let me just get a little bit closer to the question that you asked, which is what inspired me to sing or what got me into singing. And
Hmm.
I pretty much tried to map it out as far as like just really keeping it alive in my own personal reality because to be honest, there was a time where I took a full hiatus
Hmm.
from music, not only within my childhood, but even just a couple years ago, like I stepped away from music. So I realized that anytime that I didn't have music in my life, I was not happy. I was
Ooh.
less fulfilled. And so that was a compass in itself to show me that music was inspiring me to not only be my best self, to enjoy my day to day life, but also to realize what was important to me both within music and outside of music. It gave me a way to balance different areas of my life. But without music, things always feel off kilter.
Is that and that's how you knew that was your call. And see, God give you signs when you found your purpose and when you are called to do something. It's like you're gonna feel a certain way.
Yes, of
You,
course.
because it's like he blessed you with the gift for a reason. So that means he just wants you to go out and do it. Figure out a way to make it a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's real deep what you said. You said I was unhappy when I did, take the hiatus from music.
Yeah. And it's not to say that I didn't enjoy other things. Like, I'm a
Uh-huh.
very versatile person, not just with music, but with being, what do they call it? The Jane of all trades or the Jack of all trades. Like, I literally do my own, you could call it, I do my own bit of fashion design, cooking, being a
Mm-hmm.
natural healer, a holistic healer, being all types of things. You know, I am still a family member. I'm an auntie. I'm
Uh-huh.
all types of stuff that I dearly love. I enjoy learning things because to me the mind never stops going even when you meditate. And so just processing new information all types of ways really feeds my soul. But passion, though it shows itself in many forms, music is just one of those things that, like you said, it was given to me as a gift to show me how beautiful life can be. And I
Exactly.
honor that, now. I
Yeah.
don't deny myself that anymore.
Exactly. Because it's like when I look at your videos on IG, I just see how relaxed and happy and at peace you are when you are on the stage. So that's always a good thing too. And then like we just said, it's a gift. So it's like now you fulfilling your gift and then you finally at peace. So that's very important.
Thank you. And it
Yeah.
sure is.
Yes. And then now who were your musical inspirations growing up?
Oh, I knew this question was coming. So it's tricky for me because I am the type of person that I'm a tourist, by the way, just
Mm-hmm.
for all the listeners out there. So, um, I just noticed this one little thing about my personality where
Mm-hmm.
I do tend to know what I want, but it doesn't change the fact that when it comes to having like a favorite this or a favorite that, I really struggle with that unless it's the color orange. I always love the color orange.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but outside of that, I'll use an example. So when it comes to these influences, I don't have a favorite. I just know that like I'm
Mhm.
literally processing so much information all the time that there's usually things that stick out to me to a certain extent. But then outside of that, I would just say uh things usually serve a purpose in a certain time of my life, and then after that there's a new thing serving a purpose in my life. So
Mhm.
when it comes to influences, I would say I was influenced by who it oh I should say that they're mostly guided by memories, by things that kind of stuck to me that affected me deeply. So for example, like the OJs, my
Yep.
parents used to have a OJ's CD that would
Mhm.
play every Christmas. And yeah, I know, right? And like literally I would be like, uh-huh. Like just listening to
Yeah.
the OJs go crazy, and I'm just like, these sound good, so good. But at the same time, I don't know any other OJ's music. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Mhm.
stuff like that. Or my mom will be playing like Mark Anthony,
Oh
a
yeah.
really like a Puerto Rican superstar. Like the
Uh-huh.
most people do know him as an icon of
Mhm.
Puerto Rico because of his salsa, you know. But at the same time, he's one of those more modern artists as opposed to Hector Lavoe or somebody
Mhm.
from the past that I would say, yeah, they were very inspirational. Or La India, like she's somebody from Puerto Rico, literally the princess of salsa. Um,
Mhm.
which is kind of tiered under Celia Cruz, who is a Cuban artist, but she's a Afro-Cuban woman who's known as the queen of salsa, la reina de salsa. So I'm just giving you these different like tidbits of like things that affected me that I was like, oh my God, these people are inspirational for
Yeah.
a myriad of reasons. And then
Mhm.
I'm not even done. Like there's still from my childhood though, like I was really influenced by house music. Like my pops came up. I'm sure anybody from Chicago, like pretty much
Oh.
parents came up through house music. If you're like my age, like in anywhere from like the early 20s to like late 30s, I'm pretty sure you probably had a parent that was like digging into house music
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. I had an uncle
You know
that
what
was
I mean?
into house music. So yeah.
Exactly, because
Uh-huh.
it was made here, you know. So when I think about that, like heck yeah, like house music was a big influence for me. Also, of course, like jazz artists, but those are usually like the ones that all the greats. But you know, the great Dinah Washington is from Chicago. You know, she's from Illinois.
Mhm.
You know, with reserve, like she still has her southern roots. We all do.
Oh yeah.
But with her being like one of the jazz greats from here, not to mention like I got to know her family, and it's beautiful. Like I was like, oh my goodness, I never would have knew that destiny would bring me so close to someone who pioneered a whole genre. Like, are you kidding
Mhm.
me? So at the same time, like that was really inspirational for me. Then you've got the other type of childhood inspirations, which is like every genre that I come across, if there's good music in that genre, chances are I tried to learn a song, may not know the artist, may not know the name of the song, but you play it and I'm gonna know some words, or I will know the melodies. Like super big on melodies.
Oh
So
yeah.
for example, you could imagine like um older influences being like Elder Barge, Prince,
Mhm.
of course Mike Jack, but like there are other types of people that I'm just like, I know who you are, don't know the names of your songs, I just know it when I hear it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really
That's how
like
people get.
that.
I know it when I hear it.
Mm-hmm. Then you've got stuff like Lauren Hill, Jill Scott, my aunt, who was also, so I have an aunt who passed away. Her name
Oh.
is Cassie.
Oh. I'm
And
sorry.
she, oh, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, Essentially, she worked in the music industry. She worked for Def Jam and she did a bunch of other stuff,
Uh-huh.
management, publicist, makeup artist, you name it. But the point of me bringing her up is that she put me on to so much music before it was really like popping. Like she would put me on right before it's popping, and then I'll be like, dang, this on VH1 now, like all type of stuff. She was literally the publicist for like Mike Jones and stuff. So granted, she's my only musical family member that really went that hard. Everyone else did other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, she wasn't a singer per se. She just was around it, you know, for what she did in her career. So she introduced me to a lot of soul, neo soul, like when I was younger, because I'm like, man, this stuff sounds so good. And she's like, yeah, that's the vibe. Like, you feel me? Gotta stay around it because it feeds our soul. Um, Not to mention, there's also, who else could I speak on? Oh, I could give you more modern artists that have touched my heart. I would say definitely came up on that Janae Aiko.
Yep.
Definitely gotta give her props for how she crafted just my understanding of someone who can sound so angelic in music that is not necessarily choral or religious
Yes.
music. Like, she sounds such like an angel.
Yeah,
But
she
then there's
does.
also, yeah, right. But then there's also more even newer artists than her. Like, I would say, um for sure, I really respect Kaylani. Kaylani's music is insane, but she
Mm-hmm.
also seems to portray herself as a very holistic individual. Like, you know, everyone has different sides to them, and I think she represents herself well in the public eye. Um, if we're talking Chicago artists, I was actually honestly inspired by Jean Doe or Jane Doe, however you wish to pronounce it. But I really respect her, just as a Chicago artist who got it out the mud, just like Tink. I respect Tink a lot. I just want to also give respect to, you know, the GOAT Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely there's a few more, but when I say somebody that really inspires me, at least in our age group or like right now, I would say Cowboy. Like, I really respect him as a Chicago artist because of how he pioneered singing into the drill category.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And then again, that's one thing I like about Chicago. We so diverse. It's just so many styles, and it's a lot of stuff we created too.
Yes, I totally hear you on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like we created stepping. You know, my dad, he's a huge stepping fan, so he loves stepping music, all of the dance moves and stuff like that. And then we created fast rap. So, you know, with Twisters,
Nice.
yep.
Of
Twister,
course, you know
he
Twister do his stuff,
oh yeah,
and then
he
I'm
dope,
excited to
very
hear.
dope. It's like he don't him and Busta Rhymes are the only fastest rappers that are very unique though, and they really just brought that to the game too, and that's what I like.
Well, it's funny you say that because I also have to give it to Ludacris, who's
That's yep.
also from Chicago. I really love the way he can move through a rap. And to be honest, he can go slow in his raps depending because he's very sensual with how he attacks a lot of his words. And that makes him unique. But he definitely raps fast. I
Oh
won't
yeah.
stun on him at all.
Oh yeah, yeah, Luda, yeah, yeah, definitely one of the greatest. One definitely. Yeah, yeah. I do respect his style and everything.
Of course.
And then he's very talented too, because it's like he could rap and act. So I mean, that's just really that's a multiple talented person.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, and then every song that play on the radio by him, I really like it.
Nice.
Yeah, but my favorite personal song by Luda would have to be "Slap." Slaps you that song was real hot back in the summer of '07 or '08. I mean, he's just like he's basically talking about all of the difficulties that's happening in the world. You know, people getting in his head, getting in his mind or whatever. He just feel like slapping a person today. So it's like to really
Right.
get that off your chest. I mean, it's like, man, that was really dope how he did that. And
Yeah,
then
and I
also
definitely know that song.
Runaway Love, he did with Mary J. That was a great collab too. You know, basically talking about, you know, teenage pregnancy and stuff like that. So I mean that's and I like I said, I just like how versatile he is too. Talking about the stuff that's happening and then just basically entertainment.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
He does his thing. They all do.
Mhm.
That's what makes them great inspirations. That they trailblazed their own path. You feel me? I respect it. No
Mhm.
doubt.
Yeah, because he used to work at a radio station, and then he used to use the equipment at the radio station to really rap and get himself out there. So I have looked at a lot of interviews about him, and I just always respect his dedication and always respected his hard work.
For sure.
Because it's like he did what he had to do to be Luda, and he did it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. And then also too, I was gonna ask. So now, do you play any instruments?
Unfortunately, I'm not fluent or affluent. I don't know if I'm using that word right, but I'm not proficient in any instrument.
Mm.
However, I do know how to play a little bit on the piano.
Okay.
Not at that point where I would do it in public too often, at least not like a big show. But let's say we stroll to a restaurant, they have a little piano. I might pull a little bit of my one or two songs out that I worked hard enough on to be able to play in public. But for the most part, I let other people handle the instruments as I work on it in the background, and as a hobby in my life. And then when I get to
Mm-hmm.
that point to share it with others, I'll be excited to do that.
Exactly. But the good news is, you can learn.
Yes, all day.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I like too. It's always ways, you can learn different instruments and stuff like that. But you said a mouthful. Your voice is your instrument, and then that's the most important instrument.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
well, for me, just for me, for everyone else, if that may change. And I respect how different artists just they connect with whatever instrument they can truly bring out really unique sounds of. Even if somebody is per se like a trumpeter
Mm-hmm.
or a saxophonist or for sure like playing any stringed instrument, ukulele, guitar, etc. um it just matters what speaks to you. So I wouldn't say that the voice is just the most important instrument, but it is one that you
Mm-hmm.
have to learn most uniquely, if you ask me, because no instrument is made the exact same. No instrument is. But when it comes to our diaphragm and our vocal cords and our windpipe, it's a
Mm-hmm.
whole different level of connecting in the soul space to make whatever you're trying to come out translate to another soul. And I think that's really interesting because that's been my biggest journey with singing at all. It's one thing to train and practice and do vocal exercises, but it goes so far if you aren't actually like spiritually connected to what you're singing. It just doesn't come across the same. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you're good at faking it till you make it.
Is exactly. That's true. But definitely, you said a lot right there with the voice. It does take a lot. You have to be at breathing is the key though. That's definitely it. Breath control, and then you want to make sure your diaphragm is expanding and things like that. So yeah, that's very important.
Yes, you've never lied about that. When I say taking a 3-year break off of singing was
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate for me because I definitely lost a lot of stamina and I had no idea.
Yeah,
Like I had no idea how bad that would affect my ability to even carry like simple notes.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, this sounds like I never trained before."
Mm-hmm. And you said it too with stamina, because it's like, yeah, you do. It's like it takes a lot of breathing and all of that. And then it's like if you don't breathe properly, then it's like you get winded. And then sometimes you could get a little dizzy too.
That's interesting. I'm sure it can happen. I've not gotten dizzy, but more so just definitely compromising the sound that I want to
Mm.
have because I have to inhale and it just sounds terrible in a microphone, of
Uh,
course.
oh yeah,
But
it's like and
it
then
takes away the nuance.
Yep. And then it's like you got to go from chest voice to head voice and all of that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So it definitely takes a lot of discipline too, though, and it definitely a lot of warming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you. Okay. So you kind of answered this next question I'm about to ask you about your musical background. So I understand you said your aunt was involved in the music industry. So now, did your parents sing? Like your mom did any singing? Your dad did any singing? Do you have siblings that sing?
Well, to be honest, when I say my aunt was my musical influence, I
Uh
really
huh.
do mean, I mean, she was my musical blood tie. It's
Mm
not like we come from a family that has established themselves in music industry before that I know of.
hmm.
And
Mm hmm.
even with her, she was pretty young. She was only 15 years older than me, to be
Oh
honest.
wow.
There's a lot of people who have aunts and uncles that are even younger than them, so I'm not saying it can't happen, but for her to be like one of the younger uncles that I have, that was really interesting for me to see that she took that path for herself, but
Mm hmm.
still not as a vocalist though. So when it comes to like my mom can carry a note. She really can. Like when so my mom is very active in doing like home improvement work, and I
Mm
help her
hmm.
with that because I love that too. Like we share that, and she'll be, painting the walls or building the ceiling, singing all her music, and she sounds really good. I'm like, girl, you hit notes that I didn't even know you could. But at the same time, she's been a healer her whole life as a ER nurse, as a different types of nurses.
That's
So
wonderful.
thank you. And so
Mm
because of that, I feel like certain things just take precedent in people's lives. It's not like she pursued any type of career or even to, there are people that don't necessarily go out and say I want to be an artist, but they will say I'm gonna go to my karaoke night every Thursday and you're not gonna stop me. So it's just
hmm.
stuff like that where my family would incorporate singing into like our vacations. If we go on a cruise ship or something, we're gonna be going to the karaoke night. Or if we are at home, have a family get together, then we have like a karaoke machine at a cousin's house, something like that. But outside of that, no, nobody really be singing for real, except just on family familial occasions, which is honestly where music is rooted in, down to Native American tribes. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
used music to just bond with family, heal, and that's what it was
Yes.
for.
Yes. That yeah, because music, I would definitely agree. It's definitely good therapy. It's like when you having one of them days when you overwhelmed, stressed, and you don't have nothing else to do, you're gonna turn on the radio. You're gonna go to Pandora, Spotify, all them streaming platforms to listen to some music because it's just very therapeutic and then it just communicates well with you.
Yeah, bound to,
Mm-hmm.
there's something for everyone.
Exactly. It kind of helps you forget about your problems for a little bit.
I would agree. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I would actually say that's true. Um, but then there's another side of things for me where I would say it doesn't help me forget, it helps me process. And
That's
that's
true.
to
That
me even a
yeah,
little
I agree.
step better because I was like, I think too much. I can't forget about this. But what I can do is make more sense of it. And there's somebody that released the song somewhere that I it's resonating on a soul level. Like, oh, you talking exactly about what I need to hear about, and the perspective
uh,
that they carry in that song is enough to soothe my soul to help me realize what a resolve can look like.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, yes it is. And then were you afraid to sing in public?
Yeah, like that's so funny to me because yes,
Uh,
there was a time where I was. Wait, let me stop. See, here comes the cap. I gotta cut the cap. So I did used to be afraid. I did, but the reason why is because I struggle with confidence, and I think
mm,
like it didn't really make sense for me to have confidence when it came to singing because there was no visible support for me to sing in public.
mm-hmm.
So I honestly mean that, like, okay, as a child, I was a professional I don't know if there's such thing as a professional cheerleader at such a young age, but I really did do competitive cheers and competitive like dance routines on competition levels and stuff like that. Not like dance moms and all that, but more
Oh
so
yeah.
just the dance portions that's required in cheerleading competitions. And furthermore, I was an all-stars cheerleader, so that required some dance, acrobatics, etc., stunts,
Uh-huh.
everything. So when I did that, I didn't have any fear. I was extremely good at it. But I noticed as I got older that anything that required like a team sport, team effort, I excelled at that with ease, and I was never nervous because I had other people to lean on. And
Mm-hmm.
even if not directly, it's easy to put on a smile and have that confidence and sass when there's somebody standing next to me doing it too. But now that I'm more so of a solo artist, um I've had to truly grow into my own to realize, okay, if you don't have all these people, these bells and whistles and this other energy around you, you have to be the source of light, of entertainment, of connectivity for these crowds and these people. So for me, that was where I was a little nervous. So I'm like, oh gosh, oh my goodness, all the eyes are on me. Everyone's gonna notice if I mess up versus me giving it my all with a team effort, because the eyes can be spread amongst other people too.
Exactly. That's so true. Yeah, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage to get out and sing in front of a lot of people. Because what's scary is you got all eyes on you. And then it's like sometimes that might freak people out and stuff like that. So for people to just sing out in public, that just take a lot of courage. And I always, give them a round of applause for doing that too, because that's hard.
Yeah, and it's honestly only a struggle when you haven't done enough work with yourself to say, this is who I am, this is what I know my essence can bring. And then you trust in it. It's more than just believing it, but it's knowing what's within you. And I feel like at any point that you question that and you aren't sure or clear about that, that's where confidence falters, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got past a certain brink of doubting myself and being unsure about what I'm capable of, that's when my confidence grew.
Exactly. Yep.
So then I stopped being as worried about, singing in public, stepping out on stage. I used to feel like the worst nightmare is when you go somewhere and somebody knows you're a singer and they're like, sing me something now. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm not ready to do that right now. Like, what do you mean? But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, well, first of all, I'm nobody's circus monkey. So just because you tell me to sing, I'm not just gonna do that for you. Like, this isn't jumping. I ask how high. This is just, no. I sing when I want to sing. But at the same time, I know that if it came down to it, I could, and I trust myself and I trust my instrument and my body to like carry me, where it
It,
needs to go.
it's exactly because you got people that will catch you off guard, but it's like you got to be ready because you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well that's awesome. Then that's awesome. And then too, what was the first concert you remember going to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I know that I went to, I don't know what my first concert really, really was, but I know I went to a Pussy Girls. Oh my gosh. A Pussycat Dolls. I was thinking of I don't know why. I was thinking of Powerpuff Girls and then Pussycat Dolls, and I mixed them. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, because you got too many dolls. Oh, girls.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pussy Dolls. No, the Pussycat Dolls. I did see a show with them when I was younger, and I did see I saw Alicia Keys once.
Okay.
I also saw, well, okay, so there was other little concerts I went to, like Disney on Ice when I was like freaking 3 or 4, like probably 4. And I barely remember anything before I was 5, but that's the one memory that I think I recall is I saw Mickey on Ice, Mickey and them on Ice. So to me that was a concert because they did singing and stuff. But then there was also the one real concert that I went to once I got a little older. If you know the internet, I went to
Hmm.
see the internet, and I loved The internet. Oh my gosh. I think it's exciting for me when I find the artist or a group of artists and then there's like a tourist involved in that process. I'll be like, yes, I got what you were getting at. Like I picked up what you put down and I'm here for it because I get it on a soul level. Like I understand. So with the lead singer Sid being a tourist, I was just ecstatic, you know.
Oh wow. I know that was cool. And then a coincidence too.
Yeah, well, you could call it coincidence. I don't believe in those.
Oh really?
Nah, I think everything happens for a reason.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, but I guess with concerts, only I mean I love the energy and stuff like that, but I be hating them crowds when it's over with.
That's fair. I can't blame you for that. You know, once you get a little more, you
Mm,
know, full of finesse when you go to concerts, you'll start realizing how to just maneuver through that and where you belong, where you don't belong. And also, you just know the vibe ahead of time. Like, I don't really go to, I do love Chicago scenes in a way we be having a blend of intense crowds depending on what type of music you go.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but there are times, so for example, I went to a Famous Dex concert, and as fun as it was, it had like um Slump the Ski. Oh
Mm-hmm.
God. Oh my God. Let me not mess up his name. But they had Ski Mask. They had a few other people. They
Uh-huh.
had uh oh my goodness, I'm blanking. They had Ugly God, they had Ski Mask. They had, of course, Famous Dex. So they had a bunch of people there. But my point being is like being at a concert with those type of artists, it was so lit. But when I tell you, I was like, I'm not gonna get up in there. You feel me? Everybody in here smoking their weed. I'm just gonna step back and be sitting cute in a chair. You feel me? Y'all go get smashed up and mosh pit on each other. Sometimes that's just not the vibe for me.
Oh
Cause
no.
I went to at my school, I used to go to UIC, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we would host a lot of concerts there. Some of those I helped put on. I helped them organize it and put it together.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the shows had 21 Savage and he brought out G Herbo. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
about that concert was that everybody in the crowd was going crazy. And
Wow.
that's cool and cute. But I was in the front row and I was close to the front row. And when I tell you people tried to take off my skin, they was stomping so bad and I had
Oh,
on sandals. Never again. Never again.
I know that's
Like I
right.
will
Nah,
never
you got
again.
that.
Now I
Nah.
go VIP to every show I go VIP.
Okay,
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
blame you. Ain't nobody got time for that.
play. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you got people that just could be a little ignorant at times. It's okay to be happy and have fun, full of energy, but don't be pushing into nobody. Don't be screaming in nobody ear and stuff like that. It's like, man.
Yeah, everyone's dealing with a lot, different walks of life, and for me, that's why I keep my distance and I pay attention to where I belong and where I don't, because to some extent, it's like you can't even necessarily dictate or determine what headspace somebody's coming from when they're coming to these type of concerts. So I just play it smart, play it safe. Um, you get in where you fit in, but you still know how to navigate that situation type stuff.
Exactly, that's true. Because I'm thinking, because now that I said we were talking about concerts, the last concert I went to, oh, don't judge me on this one, but it was back in 2013. I went to a Jay-Z concert. That was the
Oh
last
my
concert I
goodness.
went to. So
I
I
don't
know I
judge
need to go on
you.
some more concerts, to some more concerts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember that concert too. Me and my brother went. We went. Our dad had dropped us off. It was at the United Center. We went. We got to our seats, met some nice people. The energy was really good. But it's just like I said, when you leave them concerts, oh boy, it'd be so many people.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it was really fun though. But yep, that's the last concert I went to. And I would say the first concert I went to that I may remember, I want to say it was here in Chicago, and I want to say it was who was at that concert that I remember. um because I believe it was outside. So I do know One Chance had performed. They was like a they are R&B group, and then also
Mm-hmm.
who else? That I just remember them performing outside. Now I remember going to the forgive me if I say it wrong. I think it's the Pepsi the WGCI Pepsi ball or something.
Oh
Oh
yeah, I don't know. I
yeah,
want
I
to call
forgot
it
the
something.
name of
Makes
that
me want to
concert
call it
though.
like the Pepsi Smash, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I know WGCI hosted that. They hosted that show, and I remember Omarion was there. Mario was supposed to be there, but he didn't come for some reason. I know Pretty Ricky
Oh,
was there, and
yeah,
then
for sure.
yeah, One Chance was there, and then I think that's all I really remember who was there. I don't remember any female artists being there. Cause
It
I
may
think,
not
cause you
have
know what
been.
I think. Oh, Marion was the headliner of that show. Oh, you know what? It was Neo. Neo was also there too.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that concert I remember. That was a very fun concert too. And then I want to say it was at the All State Arena, or it could have been the United Center. One of them.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I.
WDCI does a lot of stuff at the United Center for sure. They do.
Yes, definitely. It's better than going all the way to the All State Arena near O'Hare Airport.
Right.
Yeah, that's way too much there. Yeah. So now did you sing in a lot of school talent shows?
Not quite, to be honest. No, I did one talent show that I can remember. I was probably in like fourth grade, and I sang an Alicia Keys song. I done was cursed. Pardon me, but I think I did "No One" by Alicia Keys, and
Uh-huh.
I could not hit them high notes for real, but I did try.
Yeah, but that's the hey,
I did
that's something
try.
that matters. You can say you tried.
Yeah. it I needed to do it. You know, it was one of those things where I was like, if I love singing so much, why am I shying away from it? And that's just one of those character building moments.
Mm-hmm.
We also had somebody in my elementary school class who was an excellent child singer.
Okay.
Everybody in the school knew her as that, and I actually ended up being in a band with her later down the road. But back in those days, I wasn't a singer at all, at least not by anyone else's standards. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was one of those things that I just felt I needed to do to like show myself that if I ever want to do this, you know, as a real career or like as a more than just a little hobby, then I have to start somewhere. And that out of me, but I definitely am glad that I was at least that level of brave when I had no one pushing me to do it.
Exactly. And that was just your way of getting your foot in the door too.
Yeah, just to see what I could handle.
Exactly. And you could say you did it too.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. And then now do you remember the first ever song you sang?
No, honey, child, I don't know. I don't have any clue. Like, I mean, honestly, maybe if I was to ask my people, but I doubt any of us even remember. I just love music as a whole, so it's not no story where I could say, oh, on my documentary or biography about me once I'm, you know, dead and gone, they're talking about, oh, she fell in love with music when she sang this at 6 years old. No, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, because like you said, I mean it's so diverse though.
Right.
Yes. And then what was the name of the first song that you wrote?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, to be honest, I still don't know. But I do remember that when I was young, I wrote a song. I was a daddy's girl at
Mm.
some point, like
Oh
I
yeah.
was. So I remember writing a song called Daddy, I Love You. And that was
Oh.
funny how that came about. But I don't remember too much of how it goes. I literally remember like one lyric from it,
Uh-huh.
or maybe two. But I will not sing them here because, that's personal.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. And then it's certain songs that you just got to keep to yourself.
Yeah, I might share it with my supporters one day, but it's literally, I wrote it when I was like 7 or 8. So
Oh
I
wow. And that's
know.
and that's great too that you still you still have the song and then and you remember it was it was for your dad, so that's very special there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Now,
was
did he ever
before.
hear you sing the song or?
No,
Oh
no,
wow.
it wasn't one of those. It was just like me trying to dive into writing. Well, because I was already a writer. I'm very good at writing things. I
Mm-hmm.
I strive and aspire to be an excellent speaker. I know I am good at doing public speaking as long as I have my mental prep for it. But of course, writing on paper is one thing, and I can write really well. School papers, novel styles, writing, even free writing. But at the same time, like when it comes to lyricism, I needed to develop that too. So, you imagine you go to school, you have to really spend time revising work and rewriting and redeciding how to say something better each time. So then I thought to myself, okay, like I need to practice. The only way you're ever gonna be a songwriter is if you do it. And it was a really complicated process for me when I was young, but I did what I could to make sense of it.
Exactly.
Um, and so within that, yeah, I just ended up writing a song about my dad because I'm like, oh, what can I write about? There's so many things to write about, but I honestly am blanking on every single subject and topic ever. So then I just got to the point to say, okay, well, I know that me and my dad hang out a lot. Let me just write it about him because, he be looking out for me. Like that's how I felt when I was
Oh yeah, that's your best friend, and I know how you feel too.
young.
Yeah, it's like it's like they're your first protector. The first one to tell you you beautiful and you worthy and things like that. So yeah, that is a very special way to just show that I appreciate you and I care for you.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, like my granddad was really like my rock, but you feel me? My
Oh,
dad was there too, but
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
like he was there.
definitely.
I'm not even trying to shade my pops. Like I love him, but I know that like my first love, if I could put it in terms like that, um, it was my grandfather, and then my dad is his son. So there's
Mm-hmm.
correlations that I will never disrespect what he means to me, but
Oh
you know how
yeah.
that goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's definitely awesome. Now I remember the first song I wrote. It was everywhere. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I think I was talking about superpowers or something.
Oh,
And then my daddy found the song. He was like, "What you talking about in this song?" I'm like, "That's okay. Don't worry about it." Yeah,
right.
and then when I really, really took writing serious, because I started just writing short stories like in 2010 when I was in high school. I took a creative writing class, and all I did was just, write short stories. And then back in 2012 is when I really, got into songwriting because I was going through some stuff, and I might do an episode about that in the future. And, I
Yeah.
just needed something to kind of like get my mind off of stuff. So I just started writing music. Now, the first song I wrote, I had did like a sample to Neo's Lazy Love. So basically, I'm the girl in the song. That's it. And then I had wrote my first ever official song that I know that I did as I got older was called Never Meant to Hurt You. That song was a book. I mean, my verse was way too long, chorus was way too long. I was like, man, this is too long. So then it's like I had to educate myself and learn how to shorten up what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yes, and I just kept on writing, writing, writing. And then it's like writing to me is therapeutic though. It's like that's just your way of expressing yourself.
Most definitely.
It's like if you can't say your verbal, then hey, you get a pen and paper or get your phone out to say what you got to say. And then to put it in a song, it's powerful to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
It
yes.
sure is.
Mm-hmm. So I know that you currently working on the EP, so congrats on that.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Just for the listeners, whoever gets to this in time, my EP definitely drops next month, May 19th. It's called Deep Talks and Detoxin. Deep Talks and Detoxin.
Oh yeah, beautiful,
Um,
beautiful title too.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
This will be my first project ever, but it's definitely been created with care. It's been deliberated on. I've put my heart and soul into every single song on here.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about this project and why it's so special to me is that one of my friends from college
Mm-hmm.
actually is my engineer now, and he's excellent. He goes by OG Mike Will.
All
You can
right.
find him on Instagram. You can find him a few other places as well, but that's where you'll find him if you want to book with him. He's an excellent engineer and producer. So the thing is, he produced, well, he engineered, he recorded me in and engineered, mixed and mastered all 7 tracks. He actually co-created one of the instrumental beats on my EP,
Mm-hmm.
the track entitled Never Be the Same.
Okay.
He helped with another producer named JTK.
Mm-hmm.
They created that beat together, and then he brought the beat to me. It actually was only supposed to be a sample, so me and him, we collaborate where we create vocal samples. We write together, we co-write, and then we create these vocal samples for a beat, those into different musical projects, right? ones
Mm-hmm.
that ones that are not mine. But I loved this one so much that I was like, yo, we only did the little hook for it, just as a sample, but let me flip this into a whole song for myself. So that became the third track on this EP, and it's called Never Be the Same, but you'll hear it. It's such a beautiful song. It's very intense, but I think everyone who hears it it'll provoke something deep in you. I
Oh,
think.
oh yeah, definitely. And that's another thing I really love about music. It's so relatable though.
Yeah, of
Y-
course.
yes. So now, so is it on? Okay, so it's on Spotify, and then what other streaming platforms can we find this on?
Well, right now it's not fully processed yet, so we are hoping to have it on everything. We're hoping to get it on Apple Music, iTunes, what is it? Deezer. I'm not the best with these things,
I think
but
I heard of that. Yeah.
but just all the ones that you can pretty much upload through CD Baby or any
Mm-hmm.
other content aggregator, online content aggregator. So yeah, I'm hoping to get it on Pandora. I'm hoping to get it everywhere I can because it's a very well put together, complex piece of series of music, not a piece of music, but of songs, and it's more like a collective of music that is honestly a big trauma dump, but
Mm-hmm.
it allows me to sift through my traumas and get to a place of resolve and get to a place of clarity and really
Mm-hmm.
understanding what the last however many years of my life has really summed up to in different areas of my life. But then it comes down to say, I know that when people listen to this, there's bound to be something they're going to resonate with on so many different levels, like male or female. So I'm just excited for everyone to have it. It's out next month. Take a listen.
Yes, yes, and I could tell by your energy that and your passion that it's already that this is a great EP. You know, it's going to
Thank
definitely be
you.
relatable, and it's going to have everybody talking about it and listening to it, and then you just never know. You wake up one morning, you see it on TikTok, and then people doing dance moves to your stuff. So
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny because I don't know how to explain the album in totality just yet, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that though the lyricism in it is very heavy, it can be like intense subjects to talk about, but at the same time the beats, some of the beats that you hear are a little more like dance vibey and
Mm-hmm.
lighthearted, and then there's, so I would say half of it is very that, and then the other half is more like um somber acoustic. So you've got to pick. You can take your pick,
Oh,
basically.
well, that's awesome. And that's awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing it too. I'm definitely am. And then,
Thank you.
yes, no problem. And then too, so what's next after your EP? So are you going to go on a vacation, collaborate, or what you going to do?
Thank you for asking.
Mm,
Honestly, there's never too much of a break in between collaborations. There's
uh-huh.
because as I said, I gotta be holding true to my name as Chicago feature queen. So I'm always just moving through my lane and seeing who can I work with next. I know that as a new artist, I have stuff in the vault. You know, I have these collaborations that have not been released. So everything at this point is just working on strategy, seeing how I can slowly but surely immerse myself into the public realm so
Mm-hmm.
that people can get a sense of my music. At this point, I've done so much behind the scenes work that I'm just excited to be able to release it to the world piece by piece. And once this EP drops, I will be taking a slight hiatus, but not too long because it's the summer. We gotta work, baby. We gotta
Exactly.
work.
Yes. Yes. It's hey.
Shows are coming. We're planning now to see how we can build these shows because now that I have a collection of music, this isn't just gonna be covers. This is gonna be Cay Reno shows or
Mm-hmm.
collaborative shows or performances where I'm spreading the music too in a live sense, of course.
Exactly. You never know. You get that phone call to do La La Palooza.
Oh, it would be excellent.
Yes, yeah, and then to do it in your hometown, because I know with Chicago, we've been hosting a Lollapalooza for years now. Look
Oh
like,
yeah, no, we do Lala, and I worked Lala a couple times. It's so fun, but at the same time, if I don't do Lala this year, then it's gonna happen. Like I know for a fact it's gonna happen.
oh
I've
yeah,
already had my
definitely.
run-ins of glimmers of opportunity with that, so it's bound to swing back around.
Oh yeah, definitely. You keep doing what you're doing. Yes, it could happen this summer. You never know.
Hmm.
Yes, yes. So now, anything you do before you perform on stage or before you get ready for a performance?
Funny little rituals, huh? Well, to be honest, I do. I like to warm up, but at the same time, I don't like to overdo it on those days that I've, which no artist should, no performer should. But
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that if I do have a show, I will try to warm up earlier in the day, and then leave the middle of the day, no warm ups, no nothing, no heavy talking, all that. And then when it gets close to the show, I do love to do like um a nice little sound check. Everyone should, but
Oh
that
yeah.
just reminds me of like where my voice is at. But the thing with the sound check is I don't go full out. I don't do too much because I already think like, well, dang, I sound good because I didn't over process my voice and my mind. So then I leave it at that. And then if I was to sing a song, I have to perform later all day. Like, you know how that can go where you singing it. You're like, okay, I think I sound how I want. Well, once I get to the show, I've sang the song 30 times today. Like now it doesn't even sound like how I wanted it to sound. And so I try to be conscious of that. But a little
Mm-hmm.
thing that I do is I keep a mixture of honey with me all the time when I go to shows or when I have important stuff to sing. But
Okay.
what's in that honey mixture is hibiscus powder, like ground up dried hibiscus leaf,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of lemon, like fresh lemon squeezed into the honey, no water, just the honey. And then I might do like a little bit of thyme because thyme helps heal the throat or it helps with bacteria a little bit, just like lemon.
Mm-hmm.
The hibiscus is really good for me. It makes me feel like I'm intaking dry antioxidants. So instead of having beer, I have the hibiscus. Um, and then maybe a little bit of ginger powder or actual like juiced ginger in there. And I mix that up and it makes a beautiful honey mixture for my throat. And I feel like it always helps me. Keeps my vocals smooth without me actually consuming any sugar. It's never
Mm-hmm.
mucusy for me, so that's the best part. And then I also learned the trick from someone that salt like 20-30 minutes before the show, excellent. It helps keep the throat from getting too dry, but also keeps the mucus down. And I
Mm-hmm.
would swear by eating some French fries before a show. I don't care. I don't do that. The physique will live. I need French fries or something with a nice little salt. Because French fries always work better than potato chips, but potato
Mm-hmm.
chips are cool too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's convenient. You get a bag, open it up, boom. Instead of you got to wait in line for some fries.
Well, to each his own.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then one thing I have to say about hibiscus tea, I'm a fan of that tea too. And
Mhm.
it is good. I hear it's good for your voice, but it's also good for the digestive system. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, of course. I do my own little forms of natural healing. So staying
Mm-hmm.
up on different uses of herbs, natural remedies is very big in my life for sure.
Exactly. Because it's like as an artist, you got to take care of yourself physically.
Yes, all day,
Yeah, because
all the
I be hearing,
time.
yes, because I be hearing stories about artists passing out on stage and stuff, and it's like, wow, it's scary. So now I just see why it's so important to just take care of yourself. Make sure you eating right. Make sure you stand in shape and stuff like that.
Yes, I've done my share of running myself into the ground, and I was like, no more. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that serious. I mean, it can feel that serious, but I just don't see the benefit in overly compromising my body. I get done what I gotta get done, and if I can't do it, I can't. It's just making adjustments. You feel me? When people put pressures on you to do certain things, it's okay to say, chill out. I need a rest. My body cannot handle this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much money is behind something. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I still have to do it in my stride. That's
Exactly.
what you gotta do.
Exactly. Yeah, because you gotta. It's all about paying attention to your body, though.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So then also, who are your future dream collabs? Who would you want to work with in the future?
I really do want to work with Cowboy. Like, I really do want to have, and it's a dream collab for me because he makes that. Well, okay, some of the things he talks about is
Mm-hmm.
not exactly everything that my life is based around. No, he has had a full other type of experience, but just with us both being from Chicago, like, there's a lot of things that overlap, and I really do feel like I could bring something unique on a track with him. We
Mm-hmm.
could relate on certain topics. Now, that's just the reality of growing up in an environment that, I am able to resonate with a lot of the heavy things that he says, but it's also the way that he carries his artistry as a vocalist that just lets me know we could make a fire song. Like, I just already know it. But at the same time, I just have to manifest that over time. It's gonna happen when it's meant to happen, and if it doesn't, it's okay. It wasn't meant to be. But
Exactly.
definitely from Chicago, Cowboy. Um, at least on the male side. And then if it was a female from Chicago, I would love to collab with. Probably really would be um Jando or Tink. I would really love either one of them because they're just excellent. I do love Santa as well. She's really good.
Okay.
Um and she's a sweet person too in real life.
Right.
But at the same time, um I think I think we could make something good, but to say dream collab is probably still
Well,
Cowboy.
well, that's cool. That's cool. So, I just have one more question for you, and then after this, we're just gonna play a quick game, and and then if you have anything you want to leave to the listeners, that's fine. So, my last question is: any advice you would give to any artists that's looking to get into the business?
My biggest advice is to decide what you are willing and not willing to sacrifice. That's going
Mm-hmm.
to change every single step of the way. But from where you are at in a single moment, you have to know what you're willing to give up, what you're willing to sacrifice, and what you're not willing to forfeit, because that will set the grounds for how you move every step ahead from where you are at in that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it, okay, do I want to be famous? This is what you may or may not have to hold on to or sacrifice to get that. If it's not about the fame, do you want to be a super collaborative person full of networking and full of contacts? Okay, be that, but this is what you would have to do to achieve that. If you just want to be a bedroom artist that posts all their stuff online and gets a lot of notoriety through, or awareness or visibility through online platforms, and you don't like to go out and make connections physically, fine. But you just have to know what type of lane really works for you, what you're willing to do to make that make sense for your path in your life, and therefore, like, that's how you can create a lane specifically for you in the industry or in the outskirts of the industry. Because there are artists who say, I specifically don't want to be involved with famous people or with people of the music industry. Let me just be an artist that works with local artists, and that's all I want to do. And that's okay too. But you just have to know what you desire to make. You have to know what you're willing to sacrifice or not, just to
Mhm.
even make sense of where your desires will take you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's powerful, powerful. All right. So now this is the fun part here. So this is called artists you would rather listen to. So I'm gonna name two artists, and you just tell me which one you would rather listen to.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna try to be as not shady as possible, but I'm a tourist, so it's gonna come out how it come out.
all right, all
But I
right.
do think that I can explain myself if I feel like I'm doing somebody bogus.
Now that's all good. It's all good. Everybody got preference. So number one, Whitney Houston or Sade?
Sade, and that's because, no shade to Whitney. Whitney is amazing, but Sade is like, to me, her vocals were always um so mesmerizing to me in the way that it's manageable for me and my voice. Like when I sing, people definitely tell me like I have a sultriness and a raspiness, and Sade gives that. And when it comes,
Hmm.
and so I could just sing her music and I love it, and it puts me in a headspace of being like a siren, a sirena, like some type of dreamy, interesting, mysterious person. But then when it comes to Whitney, Whitney is off the charts. But I will admit, when I was a child, I used to be intimidated by her music because I just was not able to sing her music. I just wasn't good enough to do that. And now that I'm older, I'm sure I can, but at the same time, I put her on such a pedestal that I kind of scared myself away from a lot of her music. But she's absolutely an icon. Like, it's insane.
But that's great. All right, all right. So this gonna be a tough one. Michael Jackson or Prince?
It's not that tough for me. I would say Michael Jackson. I would always rather listen to Michael Jackson, but I did grow an appreciation for Prince the older I got.
Okay, okay. I like that answer.
Yes.
All right. So Mariah Carey or Mary J. Blige?
This is the hard one. Fudge. I can't curse on here, right?
No,
Fudge.
you can, whatever you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. So I've been avoiding cuss words the whole time. But that's a hard one. Oh, okay. So, oh, jeez, Louise. I don't know. I feel so corny. Like, I don't know. I think okay, okay. Dang, I don't know. I feel like you just basically asked me to choose between like chocolate and peanut butter. Like, they're both delicious. How do I say?
Right.
I would honestly say I listened to more Mary J. Blige growing up, so I really love her. But I also sing more to Mariah Carey's music. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's tricky. So if it was coming from like a put me back in a nostalgic phase, I would say Mary. But if it comes down to just listen right now, I would probably say Mariah, because I would probably be trying to learn Mariah's runs or like how she sang something. So
Mm-hmm.
that's tricky for me. But
Yeah,
I feel obligated to say Mary, but I'm gonna say Mariah because
I,
I know why I say Mariah.
I know it was kind of hard for me too because it's like both of them are icons.
Yeah, Mary is big for me. Like, she's one of those influences I probably should have said at the beginning of the show.
Oh no, that's all good. That's all good. All righty. So that was a good one there. So what about this one? This should be easy. Johnny Gill or John B?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I don't know too much about Gil, so I would say John B.
Okay, okay, I
I
like
would say Johnny.
that.
Because he got such smooth vocals that it's hard for me not to like appreciate him.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, they don't know. That's gonna always be a hit.
Forever.
Yep. All right. So, ooh, this gonna be a tough one.
Okay.
Aaliyah or Janet Jackson?
Oh, baby, Aaliyah. 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 Only because, you know, Janet is really like special. She's very special, but
Hmm.
Janet wasn't as special to me in my life, in my existence, as
Yeah.
Aaliyah was. And it has everything to do with Aaliyah's personality and style and just who she is or who she portrayed herself to be and the essence of who she was. My personality gravitated more to Alia.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
agree. And she was more in our era too.
well,
Because if you
well, I would never do Janet like that. No, she
that's
pioneered into my era too.
she
Like, for
did a
real.
little. Yep, she did. She paved the way for the artists we listen to too, and I'm sure she paved the way for Aaliyah too. Yeah,
Absolutely, she
yeah,
did.
but
From
yeah.
everything from like wardrobe style, grit of like sexy, but still like athletic and a little boyish, but super sexy. Like, yeah, Janet had that. Like, she definitely brought a whole
Mm-hmm.
path in front of everybody for that. But I would say, not to mention, and this is something very special to me that I don't mind sharing with the public, but everyone's not going to understand. However, Aliyah is one of my spirit guides, and I talk to her, and
Mm.
she doesn't stay around all the time, but when I do speak to her, she helps me here and there. I help her. She comes to different people all over the world just to serve her mission even after she's passed on. So she is very special to me because I actually understand her on a deeper level. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that a lot of the viewers will now know about me is that much past music, I'm a spiritual guide in the flesh with a vessel, but I am quite a spiritualist and I am a medium. I'm a shamanita. I am a curanderita. Like, I just do what I can to heal the spirit and heal the soul and to be a medium for others, an ancestral medium. So when it comes down to speaking to spirits that don't have a vessel, I do that as well. I just do it in the purest and highest form of light so that we can guide our souls back to wholeness. That's the point for me. I'm not here to mislead. So when it comes to speaking to spirits such as Aliyah,
Mm-hmm.
I get to learn a whole lot more and unlock a whole lot. Um, Not just know more, but unlock more in what their paths and purposes are, but also my own.
Exactly. Yes, because Aaliyah, yeah, she was a very special person too. And it's like as I got older, I listened to more of her music. It just became an instant fan because when she unfortunately passed away, I was 8 years old. I had just made 8 that year.
Oh,
And so and then the only visual memory I remember of Aaliyah was when she was doing her video, Are You That Somebody? That's the only memorable moment I have of Aaliyah.
right. And
Yeah, but
that
other than that,
is
she
too
was a
far
very,
from
very
her
beautiful,
passing.
very beautiful person, though. She's
Absolutely.
very talented. She can act very well. She can do it all too. And it's like you do kind of wonder, like, if
Like,
she was still here, like, what else would she have done? Because it's like she was talking a lot about 2002 too.
yeah, of course. She had so many things coming up, and it wasn't fair that it was cut short. But at the same time, in due time, justice has been unraveling. So I'm excited for her about that.
Oh yeah, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Rest in peace to Aaliyah too, definitely.
Yes, RH, rest in heaven, baby.
Yes. All right. So Monica or Brandy?
Brandy. I don't.
Yeah.
It's so tricky because no, I love Monica, and I think Monica has a stunning voice. But I would
Mhm.
still say Brandy because Brandy is an absolute goddess when it
Mhm.
comes to vocals. Like, she will slaughter, and her personality is insane too. Amazing. But no, seriously, she takes the cake, in my opinion, on being built, made to be a singer, like built for this. Like, she was built
Mhm.
for this. So deep.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So what about Neo or Tank?
I'd have to go with Neo, because Neo's approach to music,
Mm-hmm.
lyrically, and okay, let me put it this way. Neo to me is a more wholesome artist, and Tank is just exquisite at execution.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to Tank, I think he's so incredible, but I still wouldn't listen to his entire discography because it doesn't do as much for me personality wise. But Neo does.
Oh yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.
he and Neo just really does blend into all types of genres, not just R&B, but even him going like international pop, and it just sounds so good on his voice. So I appreciate it.
Yes, he does, and then he's a very cool person too. If you look at all his interviews, very down to earth guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this one might be a little bit easy. What about Usher or Genuine?
Oh gosh. I would probably like so I would have to say Usher because he's just purely classic in my life. Like Usher is one of those, he was also one of those instrumental inspirations for my like singing ever. So I
Mm-hmm.
would have to say Usher because he just is too much of a pioneer for me not to say. Genuine
Yep.
was too, but I also know that I don't know as much of Genuine's music as Usher, so I would say Usher.
Okay, I like that. All right, so last one. All right, Janae Aiko or Ella May?
Janae all the way, baby. Like, yes, Janae Aiko because she is like my mother a little bit. No, she like my big sister though. And music, hopefully. So one day I aspire to meet her and really do get on with her. But even if that doesn't happen, no, she really did like she feels like the big sis of music for me. Like just that person that I'm like, if you were my big sister, musically speaking, you've done a great job of showing me the way. Like, you've done that. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I love her style too, and you never know. Later this year, or next year, y'all on a collab together. You never know.
I'm putting it in the stars. I'm putting it in the stars for sure.
So, is there anything else you would want the listeners to know?
Um, wow. Well, I just want to thank you guys for being a listener, really giving us your attention for this whole time, and to just stay tapped in with us. I'm extremely involved in my supporters. I love to give back in multiple ways. So it's not just consuming energy off of you guys, but also reciprocating where I can. I'm a very wholesome person, and I just hope that we can build this journey together. You guys see how I develop as an artist, but also whatever you got going on. If I can show that love back, I'll do so. Please do be willing to check out my music. Once again, I'm Cay Reno, Cayreno, but native as well. On the back end of that, you will find me at all platforms. Cay Reno Native, Native. So yeah, just get up with me. I don't bite. You feel me? Unless some little more, special and unique for somebody to get that out of me. But at the same time, I really am just a new artist that's blazing the trails, and I think people are just gonna be more than excited to be a part of this journey. So
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. All righty. Well, thank you so much again, Kay, for stopping by. It was really appreciated. I really learned a lot about you, and I'm sure the listeners learned about you.
yes, of course, it's been a pleasure, and I deeply thank you. I am in a run. Gotta literally finish a whole nother music project before the night is out. But it's been a pleasure with you, Ashley Janae, and I thank you.
Yes, no problem, no problem. And then I definitely check out your music very soon too. And I wish you all the best of luck too.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. May 19th.
All right. So that's going to do it for Inspiring Discussions, episode 5. I want to thank Cay Reno again so much for stopping by. It was a huge honor, and I hope everyone was inspired and entertained. And episode 6 will be coming out soon. If anyone is interested, I have some merchandise on my website, so please feel free to browse around, and I will leave a link in the description box. And I would gladly appreciate any comments or reviews on today's episode. And please subscribe to get notifications on new episodes. Then also check out my second podcast, Wrestling Discussions, where I discuss WWE topics. And you can all follow me on Instagram at BlueShades1993, on Twitter at AshleyJanae93, and on Facebook by just typing in Ashley Janae. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Ashley Janae. Stay safe and God bless you all.